Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ATINER Annual International Conference on Philosophy in Athens, May 2025. My name is Claudia Simone Dorchain. I'm a philosopher from Germany. My topic for today is Heterotopia, Ritual and Egregor, a structural formula of mass manipulation. What is heterotopia? Space and normativity, corrective and de-individualizing spaces, the Apollonian and Dionysian principle, creating Apollonian and Dionysian spaces, heterotopia, ritual and egregor, a formula of mass manipulation. The structural formula of mass manipulation. Heterotopia plus ritual equals egregor. Heterotopia, the other world, is the space. Ritual, symbolic communication, is the action. Egregor, manifestation of collective will, is the effect. Definition. What is heterotopia? A heterotopia means an alternative place. From the Greek heteros, meaning other, and topos, meaning place. In contrast to a utopia, which has never been physically realized and is more of a thought experiment, a heterotopia is a real alternative place where temporarily or for a short period of time, different norms apply than those in the mainstream society. Heterotopias, according to Michel Foucault, 1967, are real places, effective places that are drawn into the structure of society, so to speak, counter-placements or abutments, actually realized utopias in which the real places within culture are simultaneously represented, contested and turned, so to speak, places outside of all places, although they can actually be localized. The other world, according to Foucault, structural criteria of heterotopia. There are three. First, heterotopia are common to all cultures, but each culture has different heterotopias, implicit being. Second, heterotopia within the same society can change over time, dynamism. Third, the exploration of the other world reflects social norms, normativity. So, heterotopia are implicit to all cultures, but they are dynamic, not static, and they do have to do with norms, they do reflect or challenge them. Where is heterotopia? Examples of real heterotopias, according to Foucault, are homes for the young and the old, barracks, schools, cemeteries, real heterotopia, brothels, theaters, cinemas, museums and libraries, all of which are established architectural institutions, but also temporary heterotopias such as fairground meadows, annual fairs or holiday villages, which only exist or come to life for a short time. All of these places are implicit in cultures, dynamic, except the cemetery, and challenging normativity. So all three structural criteria of heterotopia are represented. Distinction: corrective and de-individualizing heterotopias. Some heterotopia reinforce mainstream norms, others temporarily undermine them. Let us propose differentiating heterotopias into corrective and de-individualizing ones. Corrective: schools, prisons, military academies, psychiatric hospitals, barracks. De-individualizing: brothels, theaters, operas, dance floors, cinemas, fairgrounds, holiday villages. As you see, the architecture is vastly different if we compare corrective heterotopia with the linear structures to de-individualizing heterotopias with the more circular structures. Renaming: Apollonian and Dionysian heterotopia. Friedrich Nietzsche, in his 1872 work The Birth of Tragedy, developed his theory of art by comparing two principles, Apollonian and Dionysian. Apollonian is rational, constructive, corrective, and oriented towards the norm. Dionysian is irrational, destructive, directed against the norm, and de-individualizing. If we combine Foucault's heterotopia research and Nietzsche's structural principles of art, two classifications for order spaces emerge. Apollonian, corrective heterotopia, schools, prisons, psychiatric hospitals, barracks, and so on. Dionysian, de-individualizing heterotopia, brothels, theaters, cinemas, fairgrounds, holiday villages, and so on. Synthesis from discipline to ego dissolution. An architectural example of a synthesis of Apollonian corrective and Dionysian de-individualizing spaces can be found in the architecture of the Gothic cathedral, for example, Notre Dame de Paris. The so-called Westwork leads in a long straight line to the round apse in the east, where the altar is located. In larger churches, several central aisles cross the main axis as transverse axes and add additional dimensions to the space. The path from the dark west to the east, where the sun rises, is described as the path of salvation. Through the alignment in the Apollonian corrective longitudinal space towards the Dionysian round space, a transformation takes place that is first oriented towards norms and then is supposed to dissolve the ego. Again, a structural formula of mass manipulation. Heterotopia plus ritual equals egregor. Heterotopia, the other world, which, as we have just learned, can be Apollonian or Dionysian, can be corrective or desindividualizing. Heterotopia is the space where everything happens. Ritual, symbolic communication is the action which takes place. And egregor, the manifestation of collective will, is the effect. Now to the three elements of this structural formula. Heterotopia. Heterotopia, as we have seen, means an alternative place, from the Greek heteros, meaning other, and topos, meaning place. Heterotopias, according to Foucault, are real places, effective places that are drawn into the structure of society. And, as we have seen, they do always have three structural elements. They are implicit in cultures, they are dynamic, not static, and they do reinforce or challenge norms. What about a ritual as the second factor of the formula? A ritual is a communicative sequence that follows fixed rules and has a high symbolic content, says Walter Burkhardt in Homo Necans, 1972. It serves as a reactualization of myth, says Mircea Eliade in The Sacred and the Profane of 1957. Rituals are components of religious cultures, but also of secular cultures, for example, singing the national anthem under the flag of football events. What about the egregor as the third factor of the formula? An egregor is the collective energetic expression of the will of a group of people. The term comes from the Greek egregigo, meaning to awaken. What sounds very occult is actually subject to scientific research today. Mark Sedgwick in Against the Modern World of 2004 says, an egregor is a group mind formed by the common intentions and activities of a particular esoteric group. One could add, even of a particular profane group. In some interpretations, it may act autonomously or influence its members subtly. Now, as a reminder, the formula of occult mass manipulation. Heterotopia plus ritual equals egregor. Heterotopia are the spatial stage of mass manipulation in which alternative orders of meanings are staged as reality. Ritual is the temporal mechanism by which heterotopias condense meaning. Repetition may also turn lie into truth. That is the formula of propaganda. Egregor. The egregor is the product of heterotopia plus ritual, a quasi-automatic, transsubjective mass intelligence or illusion that appears real, whether divine, populist, or ideological. The liquid modernity, as Zygmunt Bauman 2000 calls it, creates a need for fixed points. Heterotopia and ritual provide them, and the egregor forms an illusory stability from them. Mass manipulation succeeds where unstable social conditions are condensed through symbolically charged spaces in ritual repetition until collective entities emerge that gain power of action and interpretation over individual consciousness. The secret formula of mass manipulation is exactly what is in high demand in times of liquid modernity: the need for fixed points, the need for symbolically charged spaces, ritual repetition, and collective entities. Reframing of Apollonian and Dionysian spaces, ritualizing of societal compliance, and a deeper insight into propaganda and surveillance. These could be the effects of an understanding of the secret formula of mass manipulation: heterotopia plus ritual equals egregor. Thank you for your attention.